Hey guys, Loki from the Trinity Lift bringing you a Gravekeeper's deck profile. So let's get into this by going through the main deck. So to start us off, I run 3 Gravekeeper Commandants. This card gets you to your Necro Valleys way faster. You send them to the grave, search your deck for a Necro Valley, and when you've already, if you draw him and you already have all 3 your Necro Valleys, you can just play him for 21 beater. Then next, I play 3 Gravekeeper Spy. She is a special summoner of the deck with a 2000 defense, boosted to 2500 with Necro Valley on the field. When it's flipped, special summon 1 level 4 Orlor Gravekeeper monster with 1500 attack or less from your deck, which is pretty much almost all of your Gravekeeper monsters. Usually, if you have a Necro Valley on the field and this is flipped, usually special summon Gravekeeper's Shaman. Now for the 2-ofs, I run 2 Descendants. Why I run 2 Descendants over 3? I feel that 3 kind of clogs the deck. You don't really need to see 3. 2 is fine for early game, late game. And what's also good about him is pretty much his effect. You tribute a different Gravekeeper on the field, target 1 card on the field, destroy it, and he also becomes a 2000 beater with Necro Valley on the field. Then our next 2-of is the Recruiter. Why I'm running 2 Recruiters instead of 3. There's not too much cards in my build that I am able to search for with his effect, and that's pretty much it. But when he's destroyed, or not destroyed, when he's sent to the grave, you can search your deck for 1 Gravekeeper monster with 1500 defense or less and add it to your hand, which is also pretty much any Gravekeeper monster other than Spy. Then for a little weird twist to the deck, I play 2 Spirit Reapers. I play the 2 Spirit Reapers because this deck is a slightly slow playing deck, so I need to stall out as much as I can. But I also like the the Spirit Reapers, because when you attack, you rip a card from your opponent's hand, but doesn't happen too often, but when it does, it's a good thing. That's why I'm running him over Marshmallow. Also, some people don't misunderstand his effect, but thanks to the new rulings and everything, the new print, when Spirit Reaper is targeted, after the effect of him being targeted resolves, then he gets destroyed. So even with the Yosenjus running around, when Kama 1 targets him and sends him back to the hand, it doesn't destroy him, it just sends him back to the hand. And now we have a bunch of 1-ofs. So I'll start off with the Heretic. Heretic is a favorite of mine, though I am thinking of replacing it with another Shaman, because Shaman, in my opinion, it's better. It keeps your Necro Valley safe, and you really need to keep your Necro Valley safe in this deck because you only have 3, and not too many people run cards to get back your Necro Valley, like Magical Stone Excavation. Then I run 1 Gravekeeper's Assailant. Why I'm running this is because it turns into a 2000 beat stick that can switch your opponent's monster's battle position. So you have a monster on their field with a big attack, small defense, attack into it, switch it to defense, destroy it. Then I run a Shaman. Once again, I would take out the Heretic to put in another Shaman, because Shaman keeps your Necro Valley safe, and it also negates all effects other than Gravekeeper effects that activate in the grave. So, no Burning Abyss effects, no nothing. No effects that activate in grave. And then I run one Gravekeeper Visionary. This is really weird to run in here, but I was going for more of a beatdown build with this deck. And with Visionary, you can tribute one Gravekeeper monster to summon him. With Necro Valley on the field, he becomes 25. But also, his effect is that he gains 200 attack for every Gravekeeper monster in the grave. And if he were to be destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can send one Gravekeeper monster from your hand to the graveyard instead. Then we have Malefic Stardust Dragon. Once again, this is a beatdown deck. You can question why I'm running the Stardust over the bigger beaters like Rainbow Dragon and pretty much anything else that's bigger than Stardust. The reason why is because Stardust keeps my Necro Valley safe, and once again, I can't stress this enough. While playing Gravekeepers, keeping your Necro Valley safe is your #1 priority. And I'm running Thunder King Ryo in this. I've weighed to, is this going to hurt my opponent more than it's going to hurt me or whatnot? I would really rather drop Ryo in mid game or rather than early game, or early game if I don't have anything to search for, or if I already have my Necro Valley on the field. Because Ryo, he just stops searches. He is able to stop special summons, but Ryo really does end up hurting the deck a bit, because you do search with the Recruiter, but ultimately Ryo is going to end up hurting your opponent more than it's going to be hurting you. And I'm running a Neos Grand Mole. Why am I running a Grand Mole in Gravekeeper deck? Literally, just for fun. Just because Grand Mole is able to ruin your opponent's plays, bounce their hard-worked 4 monster that they just got out back to their hand or extra deck or whatever. That's pretty much the only reason why he's in here. And that wraps it up for the monsters. Now going on to the spells. Of course, you're going to be running the 3 Necro Valleys. Now, Necro Valley it just shuts down pretty much all the decks now. Cuts off their grave access, especially Satellar Knights. Altair gets screwed over. They can't banish anything. That's pretty much why Necro Valley. That's why this card is so good. Then we have 2 Gravekeeper Steel. I feel that playing 2 is fine. I don't see a need for 3, even though, I find 2 is good. 3 might, or probably will clog up the deck. And then I'm running 2 Wonder Wands. This gives your majority of your monsters a 500 boost. Remember, you can only equip this to a spellcaster monster, and only if you control both spellcaster monster and this card, you can send both cards to the grave to draw 2 cards. Usually you'd put this on the Recruiter, that way you can draw 2 cards and you get your search. You draw first before you search. Then the 2 MSTs, I know not much people are running back row now, but ever since vanities got easier to get. You always got to be ready for that vanities. And other one-ofs. You know, 1 Dark Hole, 1 Snatch and Steal, and 1 Royal Tribute. Royal Tribute is... it's a nice card to play, but it can be sided out, especially if you're gonna be playing against Shadows or Dark World, because if you play this and they just drop their Shadow monsters and their Dark World monsters, they get pluses automatically and you just get screwed over. So this card can easily be sideboarded out for whatever reasons. Snatch and Steal, you can run this, why not run it? It's fun to take your opponent's monsters and game them with it. And then the Dark Hole because I don't have a Raigeki. And moving on to the traps, we have 2 Imperial Tombs of the Necro Valley. Why am I running 2 of this instead of 3? And for those of you that don't know what this card is, pretty much it's a solemn judgment for the Gravekeeper deck. I'm running 2 instead of 3 because, well, 1, I only have 2, and really 3 is kind of unnecessary in my opinion, because usually I'm just using this to save my Necro Valley, or I just really don't use this card in the deck that often. That's pretty much, yeah. Then we have 2 Rite of Spirit. This is like a Monster Reborn for Gravekeepers. The great thing about this is that it's not affected by Necro Valley. So, just in case my Shaman dies or my Visionary dies, I can get them back, protect my Necro Valley, or swing for game. Then I'm running 2 Fiendish Chains. This deck, once again, is slow. It needs to stall. That's why the Fiendish Chains are in here. But I feel that running 2 is fine. You don't need to run 3. And then I have 2 Mirror Forces. These Mirror Forces used to be Dimensional Prisons, but now because we have Yosenjus, Quiforts, and all those decks that just load up the field, Dimensional Prison isn't going to stop that. Mirror Force will stop it. And now for the rest of the traps, we got the Solemn Warning, Bottomless Trap Hole, Compulse, very self-explanatory. If they were at 2, I'd run them at 2, but they're at 1, so running them at 1. Now going into the extra deck, I'm running 2 Steel Swarm Roaches, because it's a generic 4 he pretty much stops all level 5 and higher special summons. Just detach, negate the summon, and destroy the monster. And right now we're seeing a lot of special summons with Necroz and all that stuff. All that gross stuff. And then I'm playing 2 Master Key Beetles. Once again, this deck, you need to save your Necro Valleys. And if need be, I can get these 2 of them out and Master Key Beetle lock, have them in defense, and just, yeah. Then I run 1 Honor Arc, pretty much just to get over big special summon monsters, take them, have them as a material, or just play this and just stall out with it, because pretty much with him on, without detaching, he has 3 lives. Then we have the 1 Castel for getting rid of the big monsters, just to compulse things back. Then we have the one Abyss Dweller. Fun card just in case I don't have my Shaman on the field. Second best thing. Then we have Karen Gorgon. Just something to sit on. I can redirect MSTs or anything that would target my Necro Valley. Once again, you have to protect your Necro Valley while playing this deck. If you lose all 3 of your Necro Valleys, you should just scoop, in my opinion. Then we have the one Cowboy. Once again, situational. If you drop your opponent down to 800 or less, Cowboy in defense. But also, people forget his attack. Remember, he has an attack effect as well. Then for fun, Exciton Knight. Just for those rare occasions when Exciton Knight is live and just when you need to blow up the field. Then we have 2 Stardust Dragons. I'm running 2 instead of 1 for the Malefic Stardust Dragon because now Yosenjus are running around with comma 1, bouncing everything back. We have Compose. I'd rather have a card that I'm not going to use in the extra deck rather than having a dead card in hand. So if they Compose my Malefic Stardust Dragon, I can just bring him back. Then for something really surprising, I run the Crazy Box. Believe me, Crazy Box has won me games before where I activate his effect to negate on one card effect on the field. Either I negate him or I negate something else and then I Dark Hole the field. It's happened. It's glorious, but he's just there for like a last resort thing. And that pretty much wraps up the Gravekeeper's deck profile. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. This is Hiru.